Hello and welcome back to the Carzone YouTube channel. I'm in Barcelona to check out the new Peugeot 408, which is expected in Ireland in early 2023. It's a new model for Peugeot in the C segment and it slots between the 308 and the 3008 SUV. It's going to go on sale from just under €40,000 and it will be available with petrol engines, plug-in hybrid engines, and an electric version will also join the range at a later date. So in this video, we're going to take a closer look at the new 408 to see what it has to offer and take it for a drive. This new 408 is super stylish. They bill it as a upmarket fastback for the C segment. So it's got very dramatic styling. It's quite flamboyant, especially in the way this grille flares across the front of the car. The bonnet's actually the same as the 308, but this car is a little bit wider. We've got LED headlamps and of course very striking fang-like daytime running lights, which are a little bit of a Peugeot signature at this stage. It's also the second Peugeot to wear the Line Shield logo. The 408 also gets some crossover inspired design cues, so it's a bit higher off the ground than your average hatchback, like the 308 for example, and you've also got cladding around the wheel arches and the lower sills, which is very fashionable at the moment, and you can get alloy wheel sizes from 17 inch up to 20 inch, which fit the wheel arches really well. I think it really adds to the look of this car. I think the back is probably the 408's best angle. It's really sporty and it's really dramatic. And you've got these cat ears, that's what they call them, in that roof spoiler. There's an aerodynamic element to those. We have this sloping roof line like a coupe, the big LED light bar, the Line Shield logo, and then this grey contrast bumper element, which I think makes it look really sporty and aggressive. So all in all, top marks for the styling on the new Peugeot 408. So when it comes to practicality, the 408 scores really well. In petrol versions you have 536 litres of boot space, but if you go for the plug-in hybrid there's a little bit less, there's 471 litres, but that's the car that I have here and I think it's really impressive when it comes to boot space. You've also got this lowish sill and you can let down the rear seats from these switches. The rear doors open wide for good access to the back of the car. And it's really spacious back here. That's the first thing that strikes you. There's really good legroom, and that's because this sits on a longer wheelbase than the 308. It's also a little bit wider, so it'll be more comfortable to sit three here across the rear bench. Now, headroom is pretty good as well. It should only really bother the very tallest of passengers. So all in all, I think this new 408 is a really good family car within the Peugeot range.
The cabin of the 408 is quite similar to the 308, but it feels like a bigger car from behind the wheel, and the driving position is also a little bit higher. Like the 308, the cabin is very stylish and driver focused, with lots of good quality materials and comfortable seats that are available in a range of different fabric combinations, including full leather. There are 3 trim levels: Allure, Allure Pack and GT, but all versions come well equipped, including a digital instrument cluster for the driver and a 10-inch touchscreen.
So what's the new 408 like to drive? Well, first let's take a look at the engines. So it's the same engine lineup as in the 308. So it kicks off with a 1.2 litre turbocharged petrol engine with 130 horsepower. Then there's also a 1.6 litre plug-in hybrid, and that's available with either 180 horsepower or 225 horsepower. Now the car I'm driving today is the one with 225 horsepower. It's a real range topper. In Ireland it's going to be available in the GT trim only, which is the top of the range one. So it's going to retail from about €52,000. But it is really, really nice to drive. Really powerful, it's very smooth delivery of power, it's very responsive, and all versions of this car come with an 8-speed automatic gearbox. We can also expect an all-electric version at some point towards the end of 2023 and into 2024. It's a really lovely car to drive. It feels a little bit more mature on the road than the 308, for example, and that's because it's got a wider track, so it just feels a little bit more planted in the corners. There's lots of grip from that front end. Now, it's not the most sportiest choice, but it certainly does feel reasonably dynamic, I have to say. It's quite fun to drive, lots of grip, and the steering is nice as well. You can take a nice, tidy, precise line through corners, so it's certainly not a sloppy drive. So that's just a quick look at the new 408 from the launch of this car here in Barcelona in Spain. I think it's a really great new model for Peugeot in their lineup. A great family car that's very spacious and very stylish. You can read a full review of this car over on carzone.ie, and we've left a link in the description below the video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.